So, first, I want to ask how you actually are, not just like a casual, how are you, but how have you been
Yeah.
feeling lately? What have you been up to? All of that.
Well, that's a really nice question. I am okay. I'm good. I don't know if it's all creatives, but it's always a roller coaster with me. But right now, I'm just feeling accomplished. We finished the project. It's got a release date. So I'm feeling like I can breathe a little bit. I'm
Yeah,
feeling like I can breathe a little bit. But thank you for asking.
of course. Yeah, no, I always like to ask. But it could be something in the air for creatives. It could be that. Um, I know personally, I've been going through a lot of different blocks, but just like mainly mental,
Yeah.
which makes it, 1,000 times harder to do our jobs. But
hmm
gotta find inspiration somewhere. That's what I've been trying to do lately. It's just like trying to find inspiration any and everywhere.
Yeah, it's in everything. It's in
Yeah.
everything. But we move so fast now, and the world moves so fast now. It's so easy to miss.
Mm,
It's like even that. That's off of that point. I've been trying to actually celebrate each small thing.
yeah,
The small things add up to the big
they
things.
absolutely do. And it's very
You
easy to
know.
forget about the small things because they're small, but they do make a difference looking back.
But that's also how you win every day. Like that's how you keep.
Celebrate the small things.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Your positivity high because if you're looking at all these small things, it's like those will sustain you more than like the awards, and not to say that they're not great, but it's like everybody asks, my first question is, okay, what next? You get a big award, and then you're like, so
What's next?
that's it? But if we're seeing the beauty in everything every day, then every day has those moments, and every day can feel that, you know, um, like fulfilling.
Yeah.
That's the chase. I think that's the chase with all of us, and like I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I think it's interesting that a lot of people are at the same point and really just trying to like dig deep and figure out there's more to like life.
Very,
you know?
there absolutely is. Speaking of like focusing and slowing down, do you still knit?
Girl, now you calling me out. But
Do
yes,
you?
you know what's crazy? I just bought new needles,
Okay.
like top late last year, top of this year, and I used them like once, and I've just been so busy.
Yeah.
But I bought them literally because of what we're talking about, like the slowdown. Like when knitting, you just zone out and there's nothing, like it's not like there's like 79 things running through my mind. I just literally am
Focus on
just,
that one thing. Yep.
you know what? No, you just chewed me up a little bit
Lost
because I need to go
something.
pick them back up. I need to go
Exactly.
pick them back up.
I was gonna say, I know you try to be that way with your music as well. You don't just like drop music every other month.
No,
You're very
no.
intentional about what you create and when you create it. And I
Yep.
know you said you don't like to feel forced or feel like you're rushing into something. You just rather it be
No.
the right time. And when it's the time, then it's the time. Um, has there ever been a moment where you felt pressure to like compromise that, or I guess in other words, where you felt rushed, whether that's like in
Absolutely.
your life, in your career?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you overcome that? Because I feel like it can
Um,
probably be a little discouraging, right?
yeah, I think for me, I just do what I want to do anyway.
Mm.
It's probably not the best answer,
No, that is the
but
best
you know what I'm
answer.
saying? Like being in, I'm now independent, but my career up until this project, essentially, I was signed.
Yes.
And of course, unfortunately, when you're signed, you have deadlines. You have like hard, hard dates and like a bunch of people telling you this is left, left, and right. What you got to do, what you got to be, what you got to sound like, what works. Oh no, this is not a hit. And it's just like at some point you have to like push the noise out, because for me, I'll do anything for my music, for my passions, but I will never compromise my
Yeah.
music or my passions. So anything, if it's like if you're telling me to rush and I'm not ready or I don't feel the music is ready, there's nothing you could do to get me to drop music. Like nothing. I guess we're both gonna sit here staring at each other because
And
it's
be
not done.
waiting. Yeah, because
We're waiting together because I care so much about the art and anything that I kind of put my name behind that it if I don't think it's done, if I don't think it's ready, like about that stuff, I am like a crazy person. So
yeah,
I feel like a lot of times in my life I'm being rushed. And on this journey and my independent journey, I really try to make sure that that's not the case.
yeah.
Like there does have to be some structure though, because otherwise I'm gonna be
Everything is yeah,
everywhere
yeah,
doing everything. No, that has to be structure, but that whole rush element, when it comes to the music, I just don't subscribe. You
yeah.
know?
And so I wanted to ask you more about that because I think the more I learned about the music industry, the more I can kind of see both sides. For artists,
Hmm.
I understand why some artists do sign, and I understand why some artists don't. But for you, like for your own personal reasons, what was it that really like pushed you to be like, not only do I need to do this on my own, but I genuinely believe that I can do this on my own.
Yeah. Honestly, had I was blessed.
Hmm.
I was blessed to, I started out with Yogi the producer, who's my husband as well. And then we were essentially both scooped up by Boy Wonder, and he was so incredible and I learned so many things from him. And for me, that was kind of the formative part of my career and like how I started, within my first project that was EP'd by both of them. It was like, that's when I think I was able to soak in the most and have the most success within a label system. You
Okay.
know, Wanda actually left the deal in like 2022 or 2023. And at that time, I was like, okay, cool. So we're moving on. And they were like, no, you're staying.
Uh,
So I was like, oh, okay. Okay, cool. Like, we can make something work. But it's different, right? Like when you don't have the person you signed with you in a label,
there, yeah.
it's completely different, and it's just navigating each other and figuring it out. And I just, in the end, felt like it was best for me to kind of just do it on my own, you
Thing.
know? Um, I feel like a lot of the things that people don't know is throughout most of my career as a major artist, 99.9% of things were me.
Hmm.
When it's down to creative direction, or directing, like I should have had more directing credits even on the music videos that I've put out because I'm behind all of them.
Yeah, like even
So
for the well, we'll get to it later, but for the Nine Lives
yeah.
video, I believe
Hmm.
also, yeah, did that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been doing that for years. But it's just, there's like so many people in the building and there's so many opinions. Like I felt like some of my creative energy gets lost in that. And I think that's a story for any artist. It's like it's not it's you against 50 people,
Yeah.
that know the business. So not to say against, but it's like, it's easy to butt heads or for your creative vision to get lost.
Hmm.
So for me, when it came time and I was like, you know what? I have the confidence to do this. We parted ways amicably, and I was like, all right, let's go it. And I will say, independence definitely has its challenges.
I listen. So I mean, I've heard some stories. I know everybody's different, but
Yeah,
I feel like the general consensus when it comes to like being independent, is like the financial front is
it's the
where
ghetto.
it's hard. Yeah.
It is the ghetto. But but it feels like anything you get done feels so much greater
Because
because
yeah.
you're getting it out of the mud, literally. So us being able to do what we're doing, like, our indie label produced that Nine Lives video. We produced the Glory visualizer. We produced the Sex with My Ex visualizer. We, did everything in-house as far as mixing, mastering, record. Like
Hmm.
it makes it feel you have a larger sense of pride, because I've always written my music. I've always been a part of my music all the way across, but like I own this. I own myself right now for the
Yeah.
first time in my career. So it's ghetto as hell, but it's like so fulfilling at the same
I
time.
know, I bet. I definitely bet. I know, okay, so you're gonna be dropping a new album soon.
Yes.
You haven't announced the date.
No, but it's May
Or
14th.
Okay. Okay. Well, here. Okay. So we gonna announce it here then. It's May 14th.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
have not announced the name of the project.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So we're gonna hold off on that. But I know in this new era for you, I know you said in interviews and past interviews that you felt like your fans or your listeners don't really know who you are.
Yeah.
And so you want your next era to show more of you and who you are and what you do. So if someone were to ask you who is Savannah Ray, really, what would your
Yeah.
honest answer be?
That's a great question. Honestly, yeah, I feel like it's interesting because the people who listen deeply to my music have damn near seen in my diary.
Hmm.
Like y'all know a lot about me, but don't physically know me,
Yeah.
you know? And I think my music is really kind of a good snapshot, but people have not met me as me. I haven't gotten to, do a headlining tour yet. I haven't gotten to go out and, touch my supporters and sit down and like break bread. None of that yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm very honest. I'm very unapologetic. I'm all of the things. And it's like, that's kind of what Nine Lives is about.
Hmm.
It's like kind of a little bit of a snapshot of all the different things that
All
kind of
different
make
versions of
up,
you.
yeah, all these versions that kind of make up who I am. Cause that's why I say, like, I've been everything. And like, none of it's killed me. And I don't know. I guess I'm so many things. It's so hard to describe yourself in words, you know?
Do you know that sorry. Do you know that Tisha Campbell meme where she's like, I'm still here?
Of course, she's
Like,
still
that's
here.
all I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
Period. She ate that.
Like, you can't kill me, and I'm a bad bitch.
You get it.
Yeah.
So the gag is we actually had that meme, that video on the song.
Oh,
It was like,
okay.
what you gonna say? She's like, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill
You
me.
kill
But
me.
there's
Yeah.
so much implications to like you can get sued.
Yeah.
But like that is how that embodies the song. That's what I'm saying. That's
Yeah.
literally what I'm saying.
So I love Nine Lives.
Thank
Specifically like
you.
the little acoustic guitar like in the background, a little melody.
Thank
That's
you.
my favorite part of it. But like you said, it's obviously an anthem for anyone who's had to bounce back again and
Yep.
again.
Yep.
Is this song like reflective of uh, a specific low point that maybe you overcame, or is it more of a celebration of you being able to reinvent yourself? Or is it both?
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say both. Honestly, like when we say low points, it's like people think that things are linear. Like it's just like this. Now, it has been like, you know what I mean? And I think people, you know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
like women especially, we think we failed if things don't just line up exactly how you want them to line up. Oh, we all have these things for ourselves. Oh, I gotta be married, I gotta have a baby, I gotta do all these things by this time, or whatever accolades you feel like. And to me, that doesn't exist. Those are only things that we put on ourselves. So for me, I hate the level of perfection, fake perfection that is the world right now. Everything is a highlight reel. Nobody is showing those lows. So
Yeah.
I would hate for people to be looking at me and be like, oh my gosh, she got all these awards. Oh no, she's happily married. Oh, that must mean like, she's got it figured out.
Hmm.
And it's like, no, girl. No, 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 no. I might be married now, but I've also been legs up in a Honda. I
Oh,
might be these things now, but I've also, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might be seeing the this now, but like, I really have lived all of these lives, and I still arrived here, and there's still more to go.
hmm.
So it's both. It's like it's the triumphant stuff, like, yeah, I'm here now, but it's also acknowledging, yo, I've had these low points and I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
You cannot shame me for the things that made me who I am now.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought up social media specifically
Yeah.
because the instant gratification that we get from social media, like you said, everything people only really see the end product. They don't really see
Yep.
what it took to get there. And it's interesting that you brought that up because I know you're not like a huge fan of using social media. Um, you're not like the most chronically online
I
person,
hate it.
but I kind of wish you were because I would love if you would
Yeah,
show more of those things. Like you said, people don't really show those things. So you could be
right.
one of those artists, especially as an independent artist, showing
Yeah,
like this is the shit that I mean, obviously you don't show everything. You gotta show nothing
yeah.
you want to show, but
Right, right,
it would
right,
be
right,
nice to
right.
see
But
those
more.
things. Yeah, online views of
I'm
people.
trying. I'm trying, I'm trying to figure out ways that don't feel so overly invasive of
Yeah.
like, giving more. And I think there are people that are like really, really good at it that I'm like trying to like emulate because I want to show more of like the process and those ebbs and flows and that some days are back to back and other days are just not.
Yeah.
Or like you were just saying, you're saying the creativity is kind of on and off. The
Mhm.
fact that, prior to this, I didn't make music for a year. I literally had I was like, nope, nope, nope. Pineapples, I'm not in a good space mentally. I'm not in a good space physically. I'm not feeling it right now. And I just didn't. And
Yeah.
at first it wasn't a choice. It was like I literally, there was nothing coming.
Hmm.
And then I had to listen. I was like, I have to slow down, you know? And it's just like I'm really trying. We kind of did a little bit with Opia where we like filmed a lot of behind the scenes stuff. We did do a lot of that for this project as well. So I'm
Hmm.
slowly gonna start trying to feed it to the
Oh,
streets, like some vlog style stuff because you're right. I feel like myself and all of us other like artists and stuff need to start showing the other things.
yeah. I read like this quote yesterday actually where it was like it was basically saying um create more and consume less. And I don't really know how I feel about that because I don't really know if consuming less will allow you to create more. But you said like you went a whole year without making anything. So in that
Yes.
time, what are you doing? Are you just being
Recharging,
still? Or are you just being?
being
Are
still.
you are you like getting inspired and like listening to new, maybe going through records you never heard before, like digging deep? Like what are you doing in that?
living life,
Yeah,
living life, and trying to unplug. So the reason I say I agree with that because it's saying consume less, but it's not telling you what to consume.
true. Yeah.
Consume less of like the bullshit, probably. You know what I mean? Because that to me, that's what works. Like unplugging completely and not listening to anything and not being influenced by anything, just being.
Hmm.
And at first I was itching. I was like, no, I gotta make some like no. And then it's like the universe just did not allow me. Like it sat me right the hell down and
It
was like,
did.
yo, you need to like, you got bigger fish to fry, madame,
Mhm.
Which is like, how are you mentally? What is going on?
Yeah.
And I was able to tighten up in that way. And then it started to come back. Started
Yeah.
to slowly come back in. And I was like, okay, cool. Because I was literally like, yo, am I finished? Like, is the gift gone? Because I was like, I can't even write nothing. And as a person where this conversation could trigger a song for me, it was a very weird feeling,
Hmm.
But yeah, I had to kind of like be still and just figure it out and start trying to like tap on those other things. One thing I'm working on, which is why you chewed me up with the knitting, is hobbies. I feel like a lot of us
Same.
we don't have hobbies anymore. We
I don't have
just
any
do
hobbies.
what we do
Yep.
and that's it.
And
And
that's
then and that thing used to be a hobby because it wasn't the full-time job before. So it was able to be even more like fulfilling and take your mind off of things, but now it's my job.
yeah.
So what I like it's I'm in that same boat. I'm trying to
Yeah.
like figure out what
You
make
gotta
the
find
time.
a balance, especially when you,
Yes.
like you said, like you turned what your hobby or what you love into a job. So you really gotta find a balance so that you end up not hating what you do. You know?
That's it.
I
That's
want to
it.
talk a little more about your creative process. So you're obviously a singer, a songwriter, but you're also a producer or vocal producer. Are they, what's
Yes.
the difference?
So, songwriting usually can be melody,
Okay, yes.
right? And or lyric.
Okay.
And or both. Like there are some songwriters that'll straight up tell you, "Hey, I'm lyrics." There's
Hmm.
some that'll say, "Hey, I'm just melody." Like I'll find the right melody pocket. You gotta. I'm stronger with that. You come with lyrics. I do both. I would say equally. So I top line and melody stuff equally. Vocal production is like everything else you hear in the song. So it's
Like
the
harmony?
performance of the song,
Oh,
harmonies, layers, but it's also the a vocal producer can also produce the artist as they're singing. So we're talking about the difference of performance. Because when you
okay.
get in the studio, it's a lot different than performing live, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like it's your pronunciation on words. It's little less vibrato. It's more here. It's pull back a little. It's say this word with a g instead of a j. It's like very particular. I actually hate recording. It's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But I love vocal producing. I love vocal producing. I
Yeah.
like being vocal produced, and I also like vocal producing.
Yeah. When do you know when a song is like truly finished?
I think you don't. I think you don't. I think in my case, I just go off of feeling. But as a perfectionist, your brain will tell you it's never done. Your brain will tell you it's never done. It's literally it gets to a point where it's like having people around you that you trust. Like now, I will trust my husband to be like, "Girl,
Mhm.
I'm not doing another mix. This is
Yeah.
mix number 32. Leave me alone." And
Yeah.
then I'm like, "Okay, if he says this is it, then I'm like, okay, okay, you know."
Yeah. What is it like working with your husband? Because I've seen a lot of in the industry, I think it's pretty common to see like a lot of boyfriend, girlfriend, husband and wife, partner duos.
Mhm. Right, right.
Um, and you know, that can be sometimes kind of like a slippery slope, but it seems like it's
Yes.
really working out for y'all.
Yeah, honestly, I think it works so well because we're friends first.
Hmm.
So we met in a work environment. I met him as an engineer. He met me as a songwriter. And at the time that we met too, we were both just so hungry. Like we were sleeping at the studio because we didn't have the money to go back and forward. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, I mean, that type of hunger. So, no blankets, like sleeping back to back type things, because it's platonic at that time. And, you
Platonically
just
sleeping together.
platonically sleeping. We were not sleeping together right away. Don't do us. But, you just grow such a strong connection. And it's like once you're in there, you're not sleeping, you're waking up, we're falling asleep at the mic and he's falling asleep at the computer sometimes. Like that's how hungry we are. And you just build. And it's funny with us, everybody around us could see that we were gonna end up together before we could. Everybody was like,
Oh, it
you two is
goes.
gonna end up together. And we
Yeah.
was like, no. We were like, no. A year and a half later,
I think, yeah. What do you
married.
feel like
But
is, sorry, what do you feel like is the most powerful thing you've discovered about creating with someone that you love?
um how it feels, like the ease of it.
Yeah.
I feel like prior to him, I was, I, it, mm, there was never quite the same synergy.
Hmm.
Like even trying to figure out, I hate when people say, like, what is your sound? But creating a sound also comes from having like a frequent collaborator.
Yes.
Like I was able to learn more about myself and what I like as a singer songwriter, and he was able to learn what he likes as a producer. Working with one artist, we're like building
Off of each
each
other.
other
Yeah.
simultaneously. Exactly. So it's I don't know. I've heard people talk about working with your spouse and your whatever, and a lot of people say how hard it is, and so I think I was expecting it to be hard, and it's literally the easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah. So
You
that
know.
so honestly that makes work never feel like work, which is a
It
blessing.
it doesn't. And
Yeah.
that's why the creative process to me is super fun. It's everything
Everything else that
else.
comes with it. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
That's usually how
the
it
the
goes.
recording, the social media,
Yeah.
but again, like I'm grateful to be able to like do what we do and to have my partner be my partner in my our careers as well. And it's like it all comes with it. you
Right.
know?
Yeah. So you've gotten throughout your career a couple cosigns, one being from Drake, which I'm sure was like a huge deal, you both being from
Yeah.
Toronto. Oh no, you're actually from uh,
Toronto,
Toronto. Okay.
Scarborough.
Okay, got it. Um, why was I thinking of like Mississauga or something?
Oh
Are those
no. Oh
ops?
no,
Oh,
girl.
sorry.
Uh-uh.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my
Those are the ops. Those are like the Scarborough ops.
bad. Okay.
That's where. That's where
Okay, I
P and
see, I
D is
see.
from. That's where who else is from there? P and D is from there. I think Nav and those guys are from over there. I'm not sure where Nav is from actually, but P and D's from there.
Okay,
And on the Scarborough side, it's the weekends.
got it. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, but they're opposite ends of the city.
Got it.
That's why.
Okay. Um, and Drake sampled your single, which was unreleased at the time,
Yeah.
My Ex. Um,
Yes.
I saw that Leon Thomas was credited on there. He
Hmm.
produced or co-produced and co-wrote it.
Yep.
Did you guys actually like, because I know sometimes when songs are made, sometimes the artist may not be in the same place, but were you guys like at
Yes.
the studio together?
Yeah, we made it together. We made it
Okay.
together. We
Well, what
made it
was
in real
that?
life.
What was that like working with him in the studio?
Man, he's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, he's literally the chillest guy ever. And I was like, already such a fan. Love his work. So when we got in there, I was like, bro, I'm tweaking. And he was like, girl, you better chill out. Like, it's just me. Like,
Yeah.
like so cool. And we went in, we did a bunch. It was at a Sony camp. They had flown in some of like the US artist writers to Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and then like Wanda basically had a room and he like brought us all in and him and Yogi. So Yogi sampled the original sample that Drake had in the 100 gigs.
Yeah.
That is from the original song.
Yeah. Because I know
The
there's
original song,
pitch is different.
right. The original song is like 8 minutes. It's like a freestyle.
Oh,
Yes, it's like an 8 minute freestyle.
okay.
And I did that in Opiate era. So that was like 2019 that I made that long freestyle. So Yogi chopped up a sample, sent it to Wanda. Wanda clearly made beats and stuff that we never saw till 100 gigs.
Mm,
And like apparently like Drake was obsessed with the beat. But then it never came out. And then we are only seeing this when 100 gigs happens.
yeah.
But what we did was Yogi had resampled the sample, chopped it up, and then we wrote a song on top of that. So it's like triple layered sex with my ex type
Yeah.
of thing
Yeah.
happening. And that's what Leon and I wrote, and that's what Leon co-produced with Yogi.
Okay. Was there anything that he brought to the table creatively that surprised you, or inspired you?
100%.
Yeah.
He's a monster. Like anything in the studio, it's like any instrument in there, he could just pick up, start playing it, and just like I don't know, he uses his voice like an instrument. Like I'm definitely I ain't no stranger to harmonies. I feel like I can do my big one, but
Yeah.
he built a a big part of the beat with his voice. It's only his vocals,
Mhm.
which is the same thing you hear in Snooze. You
Okay,
know,
so
the
I was gonna
same,
ask. Okay,
yeah,
so I do notice a correlation between Sex
yes,
My Ex and Snooze in the
yes,
structure of the song. So at the beginning of
yes.
Snooze, um, there's that na 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 na.
Yeah,
And everybody
yeah.
thought that was SZA, but it was
No,
actually him, and it was just pitched up. Is that what he
yep.
did with Sex with My Ex?
Yes,
Okay,
that's a part of his
that's his
process.
thing. Okay.
So he will use literally as an instrument in the beat. So he'll sit there and just like
Yeah,
layer himself. It's just a crazy thing to see and
I
to
can only
watch.
imagine.
And it comes together so fast. Like he knows. He just it's crazy. He's
Um,
incredible. And then to just see him finally start getting his flowers, I'm like,
right? Yeah. I mean, but that's
you
also
know,
a huge testament to just timing. It's like your time will come, even if it doesn't seem like it, it will come at some point. And it's gonna feel
amen.
1,000 times better when it does. Because you know that
That's it.
you work for it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of want to talk about your faith a little bit. Your
Yeah.
single Glory, which came out a couple months ago in February, um,
Hmm.
which is basically about how the love and adoration that you get from your partner saves you and them being your
Yep.
glory. I know you said you were raised Christian, your mom is
Yes.
Christian.
Yeah.
And you never really shied away from like incorporating religion into your music. Um, what was the story that inspired Glory, and what's a moment in your career that felt like divine timing to you?
Love that question. It's twofold to me. I feel like I'm not religious.
Hmm.
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Yes.
I believe in God. You know what I mean? And I also think religion or how you interpret it is a very personal thing. I think it should be personal to each person.
It's very subjective. Yeah.
You know, I think it's very subjective, and I don't like the whole like one hive mind group think around religion or condemning others. It just doesn't feel natural to me. And I go with what feels natural to me and how God makes me feel. And it's never that way, you know? So in my music, as much as it's secular music and people are like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, but why can't I do that?
Yeah.
If this is what I do and this is the way that I communicate within my music, why can't I also mention God?
Hmm.
He knows what he made. He knows we're flawed. I can't say I'm honest and all these things and come as myself and shy away from God. He's a part of who I am. He is why I'm here.
Hmm.
So, you know, highly favored, sacred, all the I kind of dance with these themes because it's like this is to me, that's actually how God is integrated in my life. So for example, highly favored. I'm pretty sure I say shit or one of those things on that song, but
Yeah.
a lot of people say shit. Most people say shit, including people in the church.
Of course. Even though they
So
might
I
act like they
don't
don't, but they do.
exactly. And that's my thing. I show up as who I am, where I am, you know? And honestly, in my career, there is so many moments like that. When you ask that question, it actually sits here, makes me think, and it's like there's been so many times where it's like it probably shouldn't have worked, and it did.
And did, yeah.
You know, or there's so many moments that I jump out on faith and I really probably should have fallen on my ass and instead somehow,
9 lives.
you know, nine lives exactly. And you know, the biggest moment I would say for me was my last job, my last like full-time job. I got a call from Wanda saying like, "Hey, you know, I'm getting into the studio with this artist for the next 4 days, and I would love for you to come in." Her name is Snow Allegra.
Oh.
Girl, I was like, Snow?
Mm.
But I'm working. I have a full-time job. I got benefits, girl. I got benefits. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I about to do right now? Because I'm trying to get people to cover my shifts. I'm trying to, but you're telling me 2 days before, but realistically, that's how this industry moves.
Very
It,
fast. Yeah.
so I was like, girl, what are you going to do right now? Are you going to stop, possibly stop your career for a job right now? Which one is it?
Hmm.
And I walked away. I left the job. I
Yeah. I'm like,
walked
we
right
see
out.
which one you chose. And it worked out
And,
again.
you know, God got me. But it's also like, I always, whenever anybody asks me, I say, I don't recommend, have a savings account, have
Yes.
a plan. Cause
Yes.
I didn't
Definitely.
have
Yeah.
nothing. But it's still one of those moments where it's like, wow, like without that faith and without God, I don't think there would have been any way for that to happen, you know?
Yeah. Completely agree. And honestly, I think that would be the perfect place to end this. So, do you have anything that you want to plug coming up? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the album, but anything
Yes.
else that we can look forward to from you?
There's a couple things. Nine Lives is out now. The project is called Forms.
Okay.
And you see what I
Okay.
did there? No weapons formed. We just said we landed on, you know. So
Okay.
Formed is coming and just so much more. Hopefully a tour soon. And yeah,
I like Formed. It feels like a completion in a way. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and real quick, they're supposed to go together. And then I left my label. It's supposed to be No Weapons Formed.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, it became its own project. It needed to be formed in a way. It's very weird. It's very sort of in line with that. So yeah,
Yeah. This is an album, right? Not an EP.
it's a project.
Okay.
It's a project because EP people will be like, there's like 10 songs, 12 songs on it. They're like, that is not an EP.
Yeah.
But technically, my songs are all short. It was the same thing with Opia. It was like 10 songs, but it's technically an EP.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well,
yeah, I guess a project. Not my album though. It's not an album yet.
not an album. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm excited for this next project. I'm also excited for the album when it does come.
Thank you.
And